Welcome back, and if you're new, my name's Aiden and I'm an audio engineer. So my last video was a review and some testing of the WesAudio Dione. I really do recommend checking that out. I think it's a super cool unit. And also previously, my first ever gear review was of the latest Warm Audio 1176 style compressor. So while I was talking to people to get the Dione unit for review, we talked about my review of the Warm Audio unit and possibly getting Wes Audio's own 1176 style compressor into my hands to test and review and kind of put head to head with the new Warm Audio stuff. I thought that sounded like an amazing idea, so they sent me the Wes Audio NG76. For my Dione review, I went in blind. I didn't really know what it was all about. I hadn't really used it off camera. But for this review, I will admit to you that I have used it a tiny bit before recording. And again, I would like to make very clear that I was given this unit for review. It's not free gear, I'm not getting paid, I do have to send it back, but it was lent to me for review and testing. So for our first example, I just played a little something on the drum kit, and we're gonna do some compression on the snare. So there's no plugins going on except for the kick drum and some EQ on the overheads and room mics. And also auto align for some things, although it's not doing terribly much. So let's take a listen to that. Cool. So on my snare track here, it's the combination of snare top and snare bottom. It's just a 57 on both sides. So our snare top, bottom. Sounds like a snare drum if I've ever heard one. And so when I'm doing mixes with real drum kits, I like to just get the levels in between the top and the bottom the way that I like, and then process it as just a snare. So I'm going to load up two I/O plugins. And this first one is going to be the Warm Audio, and the second one is going to be the Wes Audio. So let's dial in the Warm Audio first and get that sounding how we like it. So on the Warm Audio, I've got about 5 decibels, give or take, of gain reduction. The release is as fast as it can go, and the attack is pretty much dead in the center. So I'm going to disable that and enable the Wes Audio, and then come down here to the NG76 Wes Audio plugin. So then we can control the hardware right from the plugin. It's just attached by a USB cable on the back of the unit into a USB hub. And I mentioned it in the last video, but the install process to get this working is super easy. I didn't have any need for, complicated workarounds or something like that. It just kind of worked. So just to make this fair, I'm going to take it to the modern. I'm going to turn off all the THD and any kind of things I can see here. Looks good. So the mode, we've got modern and vintage. I'm going to start out with the modern mode because the Warm Audio unit I've got is the Rev D. So that's, kind of the cleaner. They make the Rev D and the Rev A. Get that about halfway, quickest, and then let's just kind of go for it. So I'm going to bypass that and go back to the warm audio. Let's listen. The warm sounds like it's got a quicker attack, even though on the knob it's slower. So let's turn the warm audio back a bit. So now it's right about 6 o'clock. Back to the Wes. So the attack characteristics between the two are pretty different. You can see the Wes is right about halfway, but the warm audio is right about here. And I feel like I am hearing a bit more top end in the Wes. So I think that transitions pretty decently into the kind of saturation mode. You can do it on both of these units. On the Wes, it's as simple as clicking that button, and then there you go. You've got this drive and then trim. And then on the warm audio, you can turn the attack to an off position and then use the input and output to drive and trim, kind of essentially like that. So that's pretty much all the way up. And then let's switch to the Wes Audio. So I am definitely feeling more top end on the Wes Audio. So let's go to the vintage and see what that changes. Let's go to the warm. These are kind of the hardest snare hits, so let's just loop those and flip back and forth. So warm is the top and Wes is the bottom. They are different. I don't think one is necessarily better for the saturation. They're just different. I think the Wes Audio, if I had to choose one right here, right now, I'd go for that. And that's just because the saturation is a bit, it feels to me like it eases in to the distortion a bit more. Whereas the warm audio feels like this is clean and this is distorted. Do you know what I mean? Whereas the Wes is like, this is clean, kind of distorted, kind of, and it just keeps going up. That's just what I'm feeling. Let me know what you think. Because again, it isn't outright one is better for this, right here, right now. But anyway, let's see what their all buttons in mode sounds like. All right, so the release is the fastest. The attack is right at about 10 o'clock, about halfway between 6 and 12, I'd say. Just input and output to taste. So let's switch over to the Wes Audio here. The warm just sounds like it has way too quick of an attack for the setting that it's on. I'm going to pull in a vocal. And let's see how it does on that. All right, so I got this vocal, just kind of pulled it from an old session of a cover. So first I'll dial in the warm audio.
If I had to, I would put myself right beside you. So let me ask, would you like that? Would you like that? And I don't mind if you say this love is the last time. So now I'll ask you like that? Do you like that? Something's getting in the way, something's just about to break. I will try to find my place in the diary of Jane, so tell me how it should be.
So that's pretty dynamic, anywhere from 2 to 20 on the gain reduction level, but attack right around maybe 2 o'clock, quickest release. The sidechain high pass is on maybe around 80 hertz, maybe 60. I don't know. It's really hard to tell because there's no numbers on it. So let's bring in the Wes Audio.
If I had to, I would put myself right beside you. So let me ask, would you like that? Would you like that? And I don't mind if you say this love is the last time. So now I'll ask you like that? Do you like that? Something's getting in the way, something's just about to break. I will try to find my place in the diary of Jane, so tell me how it should be. Something's just about to break. I will try to find my place in the diary of Jane, so tell me how to find my place in the diary of Jane. Try to find my place in the diary of Jane, so tell me how it's just about to break. I will try to find my place in the diary of Jane, so tell me how it should be. I will try to find my place in the diary of...
So yeah, one thing we haven't talked about is that THD. It was on the Dione as well. It's basically extra saturation circuit in there, and I loved it on the Dione. And in some of my testing that I've done before off camera, I use it on drums as well, and it just sounds so sick. But I wanted to showcase it on vocals because it is a little bit easier to hear. Let's go back to this, turn it all the way up, really exaggerate it.
And I don't mind if you say this love is the last time. So now I'll ask you like that? Do you like that?
Turn it off.
Do you like that? Do you like that?
I mean, it's a pretty clean vocal otherwise, but then you turn on the THD.
Like that? Do you like that?
And it's not super obvious in a mix. It would just give you that extra little bit of bite. But I think it is so useful. I think every piece of hardware in the world should have an optional THD circuit. So let's put this a little bit more in context of something. Let me pull up. So this is something I just produced the other day. No real reason. But it was one of the things that I tried the NG76 on before recording. So let's take a listen to what we've got going on. So let's listen to the snare. Let's take everything off. And put in the NG76 on what we had. Like that just hits so hard. So let me try and mimic that on the warm audio. So I think right here, right now, I prefer the Wes by quite a wide margin. It does the 76 thing more than the warm is doing it. It sounds like a FET, and it just kind of grabs it, and it's quick. The warm isn't getting as quick. And in my projects that I've tried the Wes on, it's just stuff that's not out yet that I can't show off. But during trying it, and just immediately almost was just like, whoa. You know what I mean? Whereas the warm, every now and again I have that whoa feeling. But I feel like it is a level controller and not a character box, if that makes sense. The Wes has character if you want it to. If I'm going through analog hardware, I want character. You know, if I wanted it to be so clean and clinical, I've got Pro C2 for days, and I've got infinite channels of it. So I don't really want hardware for clean. I want hardware for character. And in most cases, the Wes has won that for me. Not to mention the digital control and the recall.
Hey, it's me, post-editing and just doing mixes and stuff.
The speed at which you turn the knob, if it's super fast, it'll just go super fast.
But if you turn it really slow, it turns really slow. That sounds stupid when I say it out loud.
But look at the attack knob. I'm gonna turn it slowly. That's about as far as my wrist can go. But if I turn it quick, that was maybe half the distance. So you kind of get what I'm saying? I think that's crazy cool. The digital domain, you can kind of like hold command or something and get a fine tuning of your parameters. This is a cool way to do it in the analog world. So I just really wanted to mention that because I think that's awesome. So really quick, just with the settings we've got, let's listen in context out of solo. And this is going to be a blind test. I'm going to cover up my I/O so you're not going to know which one. The answers will be in the description, but don't look yet. Here we go. All right, let me know which one you think was which. Answers are in the description. Well, thank you so much for watching. I think that it's a really cool box. I'll be honest, I've just gotten so into the digital recall and the digital control. The Warm is not bad, but the Wes Audio is better. It is almost double the price, so do keep that in mind, but for my money, the Wes wins. But it may not have won for you. And of course, you're never really going to truly know without getting your hands on it and testing it for yourself. So if you're deciding which one to buy, or you're just kind of browsing, thinking about getting something, let me just be a small piece of that puzzle. Don't base it entirely off of what I'm saying, even though I am pretty smart. But seriously though, thank you so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel to see more things like this, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.